Good morning, race fans. Welcome to Pimlico Racecourse. I'm Naomi Tucker, joined by Keith Few. So it's a bit of a dreary day here. Keith, what was the song you were just playing before?
A little bit of Raining in Baltimore by the Counting Crows, who played here actually back in 2014, Black Eyed Susan Day. There was a couple years we did some entertainment out there in the infield on Black Eyed Susan Day. So yeah, I think it's very fitting for today's weather.
Quite fitting indeed. As you can see, we're off the turf. The main track is sloppy. We'll get to track conditions in a second because we have a Rainbow Pick 6 that is continuing to grow in terms of its carryover. $747,098 in the pot. We'll go at it again today. Starts in race 4 with us here at Pimlico. And of course, we are exactly a week out now from the final duel of the Triple Crown. The Belmont Stakes coming up Saturday, June 5th. You can watch it at Laurel Park, that beautiful sports bar there with those huge screens. Quite a good spot for a beer and a bet and I don't know, a couple of fries or whatever you like to eat, some chips. Pimlico as well. We have facilities open right here. We're racing ourselves, and you can place your advance wagers on Friday, June the 4th. Let's have a look at the track conditions. You can see Keith and I are all decked out in warmer clothes today because the temperatures have quite steeply dropped.
Late May, it feels like early December at Laurel Park. I'm telling you, 50 degrees. I don't know if it's even there yet. We had a ton of rain in the area late yesterday, overnight into this morning. It's going to hang around, it looks like, but we are off the turf today. Sloppy main track that we will have to deal with.
Yeah, exactly. And I think Korea Motion, one of our, stalwart local trainers, had tweeted out May is the new November. Yeah. So I feel that that's quite accurate for today. And hopefully we'll pick you some winners. We'll see how it's playing. Actually, Keith, I was going to go and ask you that.
Okay.
Historically speaking, when the track is a little bit off, when there's some moisture in the ground here at Pimlico, it tends to be quite speed favoring. Do you feel that's still the case nowadays, or has it kind of pulled a bit more towards average?
I mean, a little bit of a lean. Yeah, I think so. I've got to look at every race like its own little different setup. So, I mean, if I had to guess, going back, I'd have to go back through everything. But, yeah, dealing with this racetrack, I want to be on or near the lead, usually turning for home. I don't want that deep, deep closer.
Yeah, and what also helps to look at horses that have experience running on sloppy going, if they're bred for it and if they enjoyed their outings last time out. So let's get going with the 9-race card coming up here. Early pick 5 starts in race number 1. As always, 12% industry low takeout, 50-cent minimum wager, so everyone can get involved here. Starting in race number 1, which is on the main track, mile and 16 for the maiden street, 4 and 5-year-old maiden 42, 35,000 is the pricing. And we do a video spotlight on the horse that both of us use as our top selection, which is the number 1 Irishman. During his last race, where he kind of didn't get away that quickly, got squeezed out a little bit there.
Yeah, squeezed out, no doubt. A little break to the outside. We're going to watch this. Highlighted the 4-horse that afternoon. Maybe even a little bit of contact with the horse to his outside. But X-Man does a good job of just kind of getting this horse to settle in the stride, loping back well off the field, but then gets him cranked up here about the 5/16. Swings about 4 or 5 wide, circling into the stretch, and runs pretty straight and true down to the wire. Not a bad effort to recover. And you see Sebastian, who's also in this race, was the one that afternoon, is at the 5 this afternoon. Good race as well. Sebastian had a little bit of trouble early on in that race, but makes a good sustainable run. Just nipped here for the place by Irishman. Yeah, I'm sorry. But looking at today, a slight lean to Irishman. Going second off the break, that's a good move there for Hammy Smith. And breeding, Tapiture, 23% right now with the off-track runners.
Yeah, I was looking at the breeding as well, and Irishman certainly cut out to relish these conditions and hopefully a bit more of a cleaner break so he doesn't leave himself without much to do. But I thought his closing rally was very impressive. You did mention the number 5, Sebastian, who using your exacta I have in 3rd. That off-track effort last time would be nearly good enough to get him the spoils here. He showed that he was able to go over the muddy go. And, of course, the other race that we just watched was 2 starts back for him.
Yeah, Sebastian, he's come back, and we talked about him last time. He fooled me. He can handle the distance. I thought he might have been more of a one-run sprinter type, but no, he can handle the route of ground. Handled the off-track was proven. Super 99, the Stallion is 16% with the off-track runners. Yeah, very tough to separate the 1 and the 5 this afternoon. And I think there's going to be a little bit more flow, too, than recent races. So Sebastian might like that, getting back to a quicker early pace. So one of these two for me in the opener. I think Tales of Saratoga and Common Valor, they're going to be your speed types. They'll set sail out there and hopefully set things up for our closers.
Yeah, I use the number 6 Ink just off the fact that Claudio Gonzalez is so sharp with these kind of sort of turnarounds, a month in between, a work first off the claim, steps him up in class, so clearly is showing something at home. I always want to at least be on board with his first off the claims going up in class instead of down. So we know that he can be quite aggressive. So when he chooses to move them up in class, you want to take note.
Yep.
Race number 2, 6 furlong the distance, also the start of the early pick 4. And as usual, as kind of per company usual, you created a ticket for us.
I'm going to do an early pick 4. I like getting things out of the way early. Maybe get some little bankroll to carry me through the rest of the card. But
and you can start the late pick 5 and race 5 if it doesn't.
Yes. And a buddy of mine, we were talking yesterday, he was playing the pick 5 and the pick 6. He says, I kept missing. But, hey, I caught the double, and the late double played well. My man Taylor Jones down there in Richmond, he's fired up and ready to go today. So Taylor, it's great. Met him way back at Colonial Downs. Really good handicapper. Actually won one of the contests down there years ago. But hey, here we go. Early pick 4. 3 and a 5 to get you started. Don't baggage check. Going to be a big price in race 2. I think he has a shot to go wire to wire. Race 3, we're going to spread it here 1, 3, 10, 11. Some scratches in there. Race 3 was off the turf. Scratch the 2, the 7, and the 8 out of race number 3. Race 4, 2 deep. Cook Brothers, Warm Sunny Breeze. Cook Brothers, the price play. Warm Sunny Breeze going to get a lot of play in there with the X-Men. We'll talk about him later. And race 5, 1, 5, 8, 11. There's your ticket. A little salty there, $32. But I think you got to invest. There's some chances for some prices here in this early pick 4.
Yeah, we've seen that when there's the off-going, sometimes we do get a price or two that jumps up and really relishes the conditions or steals it on the lead. So I like the fact that you're trying to get a speed horse home here in race number 3. Race number 2. I use Don't Baggage Check myself, but I use her underneath. She is one of the few in here that has one on the off-going and has the speed that to kind of favor with these conditions, sort of the conditions of... her running style favors what's currently the conditions at Pimlico.
Absolutely. You want to be forward, it looks like, for the most part, towards the inside. Don't baggage check. Has some speed and was against the grain of the racetrack last time. Just faded. I don't really see this as a big jump up when you're looking at the rest of the competition. You got a horse moving down at Promenade Princess. Certainly bred to handle the off-track. Is knocking on the door. Big lunge there late. Just couldn't quite get it done after swinging wide top of the stretch. Promenade Princess probably won the beat. I've got 9 to 5 on the line. I think that's about right. Sublimity's going to take play as well. Ran up at a big number, 32 to 1. You won't get anything close to that, but Shakaboom came back to win on the turf. I want to see this guy, or see this girl pair it up. Can she do that again, match that? But I think they're going to have to target. Don't baggage check. This horse is dangerous. Coming back quick. The barn's done okay with these horses running back quickly. You go back on the page as a 56 on an off track. That'll win this race.
I like it. Well, let's talk about Sublimity, because I do believe I have a video spotlight on her from her last effort, 12 and a half claimers, now getting down to the claiming 10 level. I don't think it's the biggest of drops. I think it's kind of similar groups that she'll be facing. But as you mentioned, she nearly upset Shakaboom, and it was quite the price.
Absolutely. That day, 32 to 1, but just stays inside. Rode the best part of the racetrack, Nemi, all the way around. And you're thinking, okay, coming to the 8th pole, she's just not going to sustain. Well, she sustained. So she's showing that she can come from just off of it as well. Maybe she'll take that stalking trip again today and try to run down Don't Baggage Check and try to hold off Promenade Princess, who should be firing from the back for the Haynes Brothers stable.
And she got a little bit of rail guidance there as well to keep her straight. We always know that that's helpful. I used a 6, so Leia underneath as well. I feel like she might just be cranked up and ready to go. 48 and 2 that last workout for the half mile for trainer Dale Capuano. First off the claim for him. He's pretty sharp with that. She got a good trip up behind the leaders in her last outing where she finished a strong 2nd. Can she go one better today? I just wanted to be on board.
Yeah, she's going to have to run a little bit quicker. There's no doubt about it. But you're dealing with a Barndale Capuano year in and year out. Can take these horses at this lower level and move them up a notch or two. So, yeah, she's got to improve. She's going to have some flow to set things up. She'll have some targets. So I see an improved number. Will it be enough to get over the top?
Absolutely. Race number 3 is on the main track now. 5 furlong sprinting on the dirt. Maiden special weight for the fillies and mares, 3, 4, and 5-year-old. And we kind of see this quite similar. I use the number 3, Blushable, on top. I do believe we have a stat as well on Jeremiah O'Dwyer.
This is a pretty good one here. Not a strong sample, but hey, 6 for 12, 50%. Maiden special weight dirt sprints, making their second career start, okay, here in on the Maryland circuit. ROI, Gaulding 563. Ran into a really good filly, it looks like, in Wicked Hot, who ran second in debut. Came back yesterday, went by 12, I think, with a lower 70. Bauer, I think, was a 73 when it was all said and done. And this angle, again, that you talked about. Now, I'm a little worried at 5/8 of a mile. Is she going to be able to get up in time? But made a good move into that slower pace, just flattened out late. But that stat, man, that speaks volumes there. We've got the one. I was between the 1 and the 3 on top, so I'll let you talk about that one.
Yeah, I used the 3 on top based on the fact that Wicked Hot won by a panel yesterday, so I thought she clearly was in the right company during her debut. Yes, 5 perhaps on the shorter side, but I think she's taking a little bit of class relief in comparison with a couple of scratches because we're off the turf. The number 1, I'm Way Too Cool For You. I used her because the blinkers go on. She's working the lights out for Miguel Vera. That's going to be her first start for the stable. He's very, very sharp with his new arrivals, 33% winners when they go out for him for the first time. Drawn towards the inside, kind of forces her hand, but I think she's got the speed to be able to accommodate Johan's request of moving forward.
Absolutely, and she gets a little bit of an assist because horses that have proven speed in races have come out of this race. The 7, Venezuelan Talent, and the 8, In Vain. I thought they were going to be early pace types in this race. So, yeah, I'm Way Too Cool For You, a barn that's just sizzling right now. They just rock and roll to the front. They're usually keyed up with some speed, and they keep going. So this one is going to handle a fight, I believe, as well, if she gets the pressure. The firster to the outside draws in. Winter Thur. Yeah, and Acosta was named on this one. I was a little surprised not to see Acosta named on the 1, right? So you got Rosado. So this might be a good thing. This horse, looking at the breeding, I mean, okay, I guess. I mean, speed, though, in the morning is very, very sharp. Vancouver, a newer stallion, but 23% with the off-track runners on a smaller sample. 3 winning siblings. The siblings did okay. One got up and jumped up and ran an 84 one time, but those workouts, and Acosta named on that one prior to the Vera, that might be a little bit of a tell. So tab the tote on this bottom horse.
Yeah, I definitely wanted to include her based on those workouts. Indeed, jockey. And Vancouver was the 2-year-old champion back in Australia, a terrific 2-year-old sprinter on the turf. So maybe it would have been better for her to still be on the turf, but I think what she's shown on the main track means that she has no problem skipping over this dirt here. So I wanted to include her as well. Race number 4 is the start of the Rainbow Pick 6. With that hefty carryover, we have over 747,000 to get you started. There'll be some money going in once again. Kicks off here in race 4. I created a ticket. Couldn't find a single. Got my single in Wicked Hot in yesterday, so I was very pleased with that. Struggled to find one today, and I don't think you necessarily always need to go with a single if you can't find one. If you aren't as confident, it's not going to help you out. So I'll go 3 deep in here, the 2, the 7, and the 8. The 8 being my top selection in race number 4. Warm, sunny breeze for Jerry Robb. Speed, perhaps outside, not doing him any favors, but I think it's got plenty of speed to move over there. And in race number 5, I used the 1 and the 5. The 1, Great Go-Go, being my top selection. Speed on the inside, off the turf race on the main track. Great Go-Go has done pretty decently on the off-going recently. Race number 6, I used the 6, the 8, and the 9. The 8 is my price play in there, actually. The number 8, Miss Frisian, Kelly Dieter, she's dropping in class. She's taking a big break. She seems to be working pretty decently. And if you look back through her running lines, 2 starts back, she ran behind Hydra and Uno Tigris. We know Hydra was a multiple winner on this circuit. Uno Tigris won at allowance level. So I'm taking this 10-1 shot, hopefully home in race number 6. Race 7, I go 2 deep using the 2 and the 4. I feel like it's between Wicked Prankster and the number 4, Ghost Stalker in that event. Going along on the main track here, mile and an 1/8. Race 8, I used the 1, the 7, and the 8. The 7, my top selection there, 007. Quite the weight break here, 9 pounds less than a majority of elders in that group. Comes out of a stake up in New York, stretching out for the first time. I don't think that ought to be a problem and has the right running style to suit these conditions. In the nightcap, I used the 5, the 7, and the 8. The 5 is my top pick, first-time starter for Del Capuani. So a bit more of an expensive ticket than usual. I always try to keep it quite tight, but I feel like $64.80. I'm just hoping that maybe 1 or 2 price horses will jump up and get it done here to give you a bit of a payout out here with that huge carryover. It's worth investing a little bit more, right?
Absolutely. And once again, you catch a car to stretch a race. It's just like yesterday. And hats off to those who caught the pick 5 yesterday. It's still paid
Absolutely.
tremendous, 3,800. And you only had one real legitimate price in exculpatory. But that talks about the setup of the races. There was no singles that you could really lean on. Maybe you got Wicked Hot home, right? You've got that one home.
Wicked Hot.
So, but other than that, I mean, Graham's second out, percentage wasn't great. So I said, you have to spread. So I'm thinking, we were talking about this in the press box. What maybe happened was, everybody kind of spread around. And the one race you thought you could narrow it down to 2, the Dale Bennett and the Kieran, and that race was the one that just kind of blew it up because everybody had to spread around and put, and man.
Look, it's the race that
we're
kicked
sick
me
about
out.
it.
I got kicked out because I didn't use the scope. Because I thought, we can go and use those 2 horses. Boom, exculpatory comes up and makes full use of that pace duel in the end.
He was one of our last, drops. We had to kind of shrink the ticket. It was a huge ticket that we played. A bunch of the guys, we put our money together. But, hey, you learn your lesson. But coming back today in the pick 6, don't sleep on it because it's one of those cards that, there's no singles involved. And if you let it slip through the cracks, you talked about a great possible blow-up horse and the Kelly Lindeder horse that could put you over the top. So, this is good today. I don't know what we'll have in the handle. What did we have, about 120,000 yesterday in the pick 6?
I think around something like that.
So, hopefully we'll get something close today.
Yeah, I'm hoping about 100 grand might go in here. Let's talk about race number 4. Claiming a 16 to 12.5 level, 6 furlong sprinting the distance. Both you and I go with the outside speed in warm, sunny breeze for trainer Jerry Robb. Xavier Perez, hungry to get his wins on board. We'll talk about that in a second. I don't think the outside post position is doing him any favors, but 3 starts back was drawn towards the outside as well and was able to actually kind of sit and stalk before moving over. So not necessarily need the lead. He'll get there eventually.
Plenty of experience on a wet track, right? 3 starts, 2 wins, and a third. And one of those races on the off track was able to sit just off of it. The target speed might be to the inside if no fooling due, but warm sunny breeze takes advantage of the condition. When you read the condition, 3-year-olds and up, or which have never won 3 or 3-year-olds. Hey, he's a 3-year-old that's won 4. You take advantage of the condition like that, and this is a condition these guys love getting the 3-year-olds and roll right through and get win after win after win. Jerry Robb, he's good at this, so I think it's going to be tough to deny. Warm sunny breeze. Price play, Cook Brothers again jumping back up. I don't like the way he lugged in, but he was against the grain last time, making that wide move on an inside favoring racetrack. Coming back quick with Grant Whitaker. There's a horse that might upset if things get really heated up on the front end.
Yeah, I used him underneath as well. I actually ended up using a Commanding General underneath for Linda Albert. Has a bit of speed drawn towards the inside. Had a perfect kind of slip-through trip last time. I didn't fought for it. Just got taken by a closer in Bananas on Fire coming into the center of the track. But I thought he fought for it. So he was just a little bit unlucky that day. I didn't think it was disgraced at all. Comes back with maybe a better effort and can get his picture taken today. As we'll take a quick commercial break and then we'll be back with the rest of the card.
And they're off. Second in the 2-path. Ground on her inside. Race. And a quarter of a mile to go, and he's 6 on top. It's last of the 12 as they roll into the backstretch.
Welcome back to Pimlico Racecourse. Naomi Tucker, Keith Fusel, talking you through today's card. We are off the turf, a sloppy main track, but I'll keep you up to date throughout the day. If there are any changes in the going, our terrific team has been working as hard as possible to make sure that the conditions are as favorable as we can get them. And the track is looking good for the fact that we've had quite a bit of rain. But you know what? You start handicapping towards horses that either have a bit of speed or affinity with the off-going, and that's what Keith and I have been doing. Race number 4, claiming 12.5. We are off the turf here, 5 furlong the distance. Late pick 5 starts here as well. No carryover because Keith, you were mentioning it, got taken out yesterday.
Yeah, gets taken out yesterday, 3,800 to multiple bettors, and like I say, pretty good return on investment when you basically take a look at the prices that we had strung along. So exculpatory, those who had that one, they were the lucky ones.
Oh, absolutely. You and me both got kicked out by exculpatory. So congratulations to everyone that did include him. Race number 5. I'll start with my top selection. You have him underneath. I have him on top here. Great go-go speed on the inside. He was part of the pace duel last time that set it up for Pascal Chant. He gamely kept on battling before kind of having to admit defeat. I think that showed that he's pretty much capable of carrying his speed on the off-going, because that was on a sloppy surface 5 furlongs. Same distance, same conditions this time. I think he's going to try and take them coast to coast.
Yeah, Pascal Chant, I'm just envisioning another perfect trip, just laying in there towards the inside to be able to stalk the speeds. Great go-go is quick, but he's going to have some company. I think Jack Bow was awfully fast as the horse was run well off of a break and went up to Aqueduct, topped out, just couldn't get it done there. But back with a freshening, bullet work on the turf, coming back to dirt. I think this horse is going to really press. Nautical Nature's a horse that's had speed in the past. Tail of Dubai has had speed in the past. So I think it will be contested. Now, Great Go, he's quick and he's game, but if he clears, he's probably gone. But I think he's going to get some heat in here. I think Pascal Chant is going to sit another perfect trip. No more talk. He's a horse who's been barn to barn to barn. He's been around, and you know what? He runs for everybody. You got to like that about a horse like this. Very popular. 7 wins for 55 starts, 11 seconds, 7 thirds. 5/8 just might be just a touch too short. He's run well and just missed a 5.5. He's going to make a run at it. I just don't know if he's going to get up in time. So I'm going to key around the 5 and 11. So horses come from just off the pace.
Yeah, I use the 11 in third, just off the fact that it's been 22 days since his last race. No recorded workouts since then. So just wondering how sharp is he going to arrive in here. Was quite decent in second last time out behind Day the Music Died, who was a tough customer at that level. So certainly not disgraced whatsoever. Stays, that was at the starter allowance, now drops to the 12.5. Most off-track experience of all of them. He's ran on the wet going 10 times for a win, a second and 2/3. So clearly doesn't mind getting his feet a little bit wet here on the surface at all. So I use him, but just wondering how sharp he's going to be here off that sprinting distance, as you highlighted.
Yeah, I think, not showing the work, it concerns me a little bit, but, going only 5/8 might be sharp, just kind of walking the horse into the race. We'll see. And Day the Music Died. He's pretty quick. He would have been favored in this race.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, nobody like Day the Music Died lining up in here. Race number 6 for fillies and mares, 3, 4, and 5-year-olds, 6 furlong the distance, maiden 16. Now, this is where I have my price play, Keith. This is the number 8 Miss Frisian 10-1 morning line for Kelly Dees. We haven't seen her in 261 days. She's now a 5-year-old. She might have just needed the break, but what I went on was that race 2 starts back where she ran behind Hydra, Uno Tigres. Now, that was a career best effort for her. We know Hydra went on to win at a second optional claimer level, I do believe. Uno Tigres, first level allowance winner. So just thinking there is something there. Perhaps the freshening will bring it out in her. And this isn't a tough group here.
No. And you've got Acosta is able to pick up the mount, one of our top riders here. So, is she going to do it up front? I don't know. I think you want to see the 2-back comment, unhurried, improved. So sit back a little bit and make a run in this place, into the pace, because there's some questionable speed types. Yeah, I didn't. This would have been my next horse in. I will not leave that horse out of my exacta boxes when I key a couple horses. That's my normal bet. She will be used underneath. My biggest concern, why in for 16 on the drop? When smaller barns drop horses, that concerns me. That worries me a little bit. Usually there's a little bit of a protect move like that, but maybe Miss Friesen is going to fool us and run big this afternoon.
I hope so.
Yeah, 9 masks. I think it might be Al Cortez Day today here at Pimlico. Al Cortez, I like this one, and in the next race adds the speed of the speed. 9 mast has battled on the front end, just a little bit of a fade. I think was against the grain of it last time out. You know what Al's going to do. He's going to send.
Oh, absolutely.
And this horse is able to clear. I think she could be gone against this group. Main factors, maybe pressing the 9 competent for Mary Upler on a drop. There's an $80,000 purchase. Just hasn't quite cut it out, by competitive edge. I like this horse. There's a little excuse in debut. I think she's going to be part of the pace flow here. And Galamite Dreams, the horse ran a bang-up debut. Hasn't been able to come back to that race, but the blinkers go on. Maybe, just maybe, Tim Keefe, a barn that's been rolling right along here of late, can improve with the blinkers. I think this one can kind of stalk at the speed as well.
I love the fact that we're quite dissimilar in our selections for this race. I like it. I like the number 6 Looks Don't Lie as well. She seems to improve on the off-going, and she broke her maiden 2 starts back, but she got DQ'd back into third. I don't know, was placed second second that day. So technically, she's already been able to put her nose in front. It always helps to have a little bit of experience like that, and she still kept her condition. So now back once again to try and get the win here. So I like the fact that 8-6-9-5 for me, 2-5-7-9 for you, Keith. This is a bit of a spread race, I'd say, on the ticket, but it's to me, it's wide open. It's a maiden 16 where there's a couple that could certainly jump up and show us what they're made of. Race number 7, starter allowance here, mile and an eighth going along on the main track here. Now, I know that we've talked about this before. Both of us always tend to look for these out-and-out staying types, but perhaps none of them really are that mile and an eighth type in here, to be quite honest. Like, to me, not really. So I went with the speed, Wicked Prankster, and you did too.
There you go. There's Al Cortez again. I think once again to the front. Last time didn't run too bad on the turf. Got out with the horse to the left-handed stick and veered out to the stretch. But once the horse straightened, continued with effort. The two-back try, very good. Improved numbers for a barn. That works for me. I mean, they don't win a lot, but the horses usually try and they hit the board a lot. So I think Wicked Prankster can go ahead and clear this field. I don't see anybody going with him early. The main target, I guess, is going to be Ghost Stalker. You got to think that's the main competition.
Absolutely, yeah. I use him in second. Just missed the win in his last 2 race course starts. But came with a 3-white move last out, rallying very, very tenacious there late. Did hang strongly inwards, so I watched that replay, very much leaning on his inside foe. So I wonder if you want to kind of try and bring him over so he has the rail. So at least you can't get DQ'd if you're leaning in on the rail, which is what happened to him last time. He got DQ'd and placed third after getting a second. So, I mean, that's my thought process. If you have a horse that clearly like some guidance. I mean, in general, when you're working horses, they have that rail on their inside. That's kind of what they're used to, especially, horses that perhaps, have shown it a little bit in the past. Is it beneficial to get yourself a rail position? Maybe. I think so anyway. Ghost Stalker just making sure to keep him straight. Race number 8. 2 more races to go here, mile and 16. This is that Maryland first level allowance. And a couple of horses in here, that are trying to get back in winning ways. But let's talk about the number 7007 in here, because I highlighted it when I was talking about my Rainbow Pick 6 ticket. If you look at the weights here, the majority of the older horses are carrying 126. 007's only got to carry 117. Over Mount 16 on the main track, a bit of moisture in the ground. I think that can help. Yeah,
and that's the situation, too. You're looking at this race. Is he the best proven router? We don't know because he's never been long, right? So proven horses are Toy and Welling going to be your shorter prices. You know they can get it done at a distance of ground, but we know how this track can play. Maybe a little hedge towards the speed. Watch as the day goes on. There's a definite speed lean when you look at the breeding of this horse, though. You're looking at all sprint types. But it's been gritty into some fast fractions. Just might be able to steal it if he gets away with a softer, let's say, half. But Welling's a horse. He's back to his friendly confines. He can make big middle moves in races. He likes an off track, and Toy with the blinkers on is another one. I liked him last time. Just got way, way too far back. He's lost some speed. He's shown a little bit in the past. Going long, maybe the blinkers will wake him back up, because I think he'll get first run on 007 if he looks sharp, maybe into the backstretch, because Toys and Welling, they're tough cookies, and Toy has won the open allowance, but going long, as has 007 going short. So good horse race here in the 8th race.
I know, I agree with you there. And Toy, to me, he was kind of that good thing coming up when he then broke his first level allowance on first asking open company after the maiden special weight win, and then got into this company, the Maryland Breds, has faced some tough horses, Macklemore Avenue, youngest of 5, hasn't been able to just put it together just yet. I'm wondering, is he indeed just getting a little bit older and not back to his best, because he showed a lot of talent sort of summer of 2020, hasn't been able to kind of get back to that yet, but seems to maybe start going back up in that upward curve second after a layoff as well.
Yeah, and I tell you, I'm worried about him being a little bit flat. I think this might be a little bit of a desperation move with the blinkers. We're going to see. But you just look at the condition. You say, okay, state bred, other than, okay, well, he's already won the Open. Well, so he should be able to roll right on through. And no, these races have come up tough week in and week out. So you've got to work for it. You just think it's going to be handed to you. No, you got another thing coming.
Yeah, let's move on to the final race on the cards. 5 furlong sprinting on the main track here. Maiden 25 for 3, 4 and 5-year-olds. Kind of use similar horses here. Let's talk about your top selection, Firth Keys. That's the number 8, Actham, if I say that correctly. Another speed influence. Didn't finish off his last race, though. Did put a work in between 49 and 4. I use him underneath in second just because, it seems that obviously he's gearing up again to do the same, but that 49 and 4 isn't as fast that I would have liked to have seen. That's just me being uber critical here.
Yeah, I mean, you're looking at another horse, $435,000 purchase. Hasn't quite cut it out. It's a tough game sometimes, isn't it? I'm just counting on the speed and the off track. This horse has never hit an off track, but look at the Breeding Caney ride. Munning's on the bottom side. He's been beaten a couple times by Maine. Maybe today he can go ahead and clear and take this field the distance at 5/8 of a mile. You got the firster right on top.
Yeah, I did. 3-year-old first is a 3-year-old and up first is for Dale Capuano. He's 23% winners and 47% in the money. Very, very sharp at preparing these older runners. And First Samurai, 15% on the off, going 60% with sprinters. Perhaps not as solid with his 3-year-old and up first. It's at 10%, but kind of putting it all together, decent enough, works. And half of the savings, 2 out of 4 placed on there. And they showed on their first try. So at least something there. Taking a chance here because, some of the others here didn't attract me as much. So I feel like perhaps a Gleaming Sword can jump up and do it for me. But I use the number 8 who you have on top underneath.
Okay. Yeah, and Maine's going to be, I would think, could be the favorite here, maybe 2 to 1, maybe a little bit even lower. I've got lined at 5 to 2. Too many chances for me. Kind of a chaser. And once again, talking about the stringer races, you're seeing no singles. You got to come in and play this late pick 5 and the rainbow pick 6 because it offers a lot of opportunities. I do think there's going to be some prices along the way.
Absolutely. Yeah, Maine 0 from 14. But we did see Lifespan yesterday on his 15th try.
Got the miracle bob of life to get it done. Oh,
Jose Corrales trained. JD Acosta aboard. Got him up there. I didn't think he got there.
No, I saw JD come back. He was shaking his head. He was like shocked that he got it done.
So it is possible on the 15 try to still break your maiden if that gives any confidence to the number 7 main here in the nightcap at Pimlico. That will do it in terms of our handicapping segment, and we'll go continue with Lucky Round. One week away from the Belmont Stakes, and of course Ron Bauer, he put in his final piece of work yesterday. 4 furlongs in 50 flat in company with another horse, Jonathan Thomas trainee. Now that was at Belmont. This is the footage we still have from him here at Pimlico. That was also the first time Johnny Velasquez was up, who will be taking the ride.
There you go. Yeah, a little musical chairs here with the riders in the Belmont Stakes. But Ron Bauer, he impressed me in the Preakness. Did not have the easiest trips, caught in between horses for a long way, and was able to finish like that. I think he's going to be fine at the distance. He's got the speed to lay close enough too at that distance, which you want to be. You don't want to be that. Usually, you don't want to be that far back type in the Belmont.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll move on to movement. We've had hundreds of horses ship over from Laurel Park to Timonian, now situated there. I do believe the first horses were on track last Tuesday. Horses have been coming in before that. It's kind of wonderful to see these horses train there. I need to go up and have a look myself.
You've been over there, right?
Yes, but not when I've seen horses training on the track. I've been there for the sales.
I've been for the sales and everything. Yeah, I mean, Timonian, that's where I grew up. I mean, that was it, going to the fair with the parents and sitting up at the top of the grandstand and chasing down tickets and betting. So getting my parents to bet. But you got to love it. You got to love the cooperation of everybody getting along because it's a little tricky over there. You've had, to deal with the sales. We had to wait for that sale to get over. So it's good everybody working together and getting through this, the changes going on at the Laurel racetrack. But, Big T. And it, for those that may be over in the area, they're going to chance to watch horses go work in the morning. Now they've got their chance.
Why not? Go out, grab a coffee and enjoy all the action. It looks pretty damn good.
Yes.
Excuse my language here.
That's
Should not put it like that. It looks great. I'm glad to see everyone settling in so terrifically and the team effort that indeed was involved to get this all going and going off without a hitch. Congratulations to everyone at the Maryland Jockey Club, as well as all the horsemen and women that have been so cooperative, so patient, and are now training at a different track. So thank you to everyone again. And I will make sure to make my way out there. It's a bit of a trek for me. I do think it's about an hour and a half, an hour 45 from where I live.
Okay.
But I need to head over and at least check out all the action there. So highly encouraged. Talking about jockey action, Xavier Perez chasing the elusive 1,000 wins. And that's actually the footage of him sitting on top of Street Loot there when they were preparing for the stakes. Of course, Street Loot, one of his favorite fillies, as well as Anna's Bandit. Him and Jerry Robb have done a terrific job together with these quite talented, locally bred fillies and mares. So yeah, 4 away, had a winner yesterday, so that made it 4. Man, that must mean something to him, like hoping to get that 1,000 win on board.
Yeah, he's put in a lot of time, a lot of effort. He's gone through, some ups and some downs, some streaks, as all these jockeys do. But he's persevered through it all. And, and he talked about, I read one of the press releases, kind of the race that got him going was the Spicer Cub race. Have you ever seen the footage of that here at Pimlico when Spicer Cub decided to go out and get a hot dog? He went out and went outside of the gate.
Oh, no, hold on. I have seen that. Yeah. You showed me that video. And then still came back and was still part of it.
Just missed. Yeah. So, and it's odd just how things work. But, I mean, showing the ability to handle that dose of adversity.
I didn't realize that's what got him into it.
Well, no. But I mean, that kind of helped get things going again. He was maybe a little bit of a lull, but and people took note of that, and he's been rolling ever since. So it'd be fitting if he gets it done here for Jerry Robb. They've teamed up for a ton of wins, and he's live today on Warm Sunny Breeze, and actually live on the opener here in Irishman.
Yeah, absolutely. So congratulations. Indeed, it's not an easy route to take a career as a jockey. So to be able to keep healthy and on top of your game and keep the opportunities going is no mean feat at all. So we wish Xavier Perez the best of luck here. So with another up-and-coming jockey, Charlie Marquez has been riding the lights out. He recorded a double yesterday. He's now atop the leader standings. Do you know that Fergal Lynch also had a double yesterday, but it's obviously quite significant for Charlie as he is now leading the way in terms of wins.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about it time and time again. This place has been a haven for apprentice riders. None of the Charlie Marquez Jr. is doing well. He's learning every race. He gets a little bit better. So, yeah, he might be tough to knock off here at Pimlico. He's going to be around.
Oh, he will be for sure. And that will do it for us this morning. I'll be back later in the afternoon to guide you through the card and keep you up to date on anything changing in terms of the going. And good luck to everyone. Dave Rodman will be up next with scratches and changes.
All right, good luck.